Hi there, it's me, Dr. Cindy, your in house therapist. Today I am giving a session on how to rise and shine. This is going to be the name of my new podcast. I just thought it up 5 minutes ago. I've been wanting to speak for so long right now, and I haven't been able to. I haven't had the words, I haven't had the emotional IQ, I haven't had anything uh, much to say that wasn't based on emotions and anger and just feeling really upset. You see, I was born, I have come to believe an empath. And what an empath is a person who feels more, feels deeper. Like if somebody cuts himself, I feel like I'm cut. Okay. If they lost their job, I feel like I lost my job. And it's a gift and a curse at the same time. If you don't take care of yourself, you end up getting walked on. And I've done that a million times in my life. I've picked up the load for people. Have you ever done that? You're helping them. There's a friend that needs help, and all of a sudden you realize, wait, I'm doing all the work here. And there's something to life about suffering. But my unique setup is my background is um, I was a child from a very broken home. Mom was mentally ill a little bit and abused by men, as was her mother. It came down a family chain. And father had left when we were little. There was my older sister, me in the middle, and then my younger brother, Rocky. Okay. And I was the one that was standing on a shelf trying to get some cereal because I'm short when I was little. And a social worker came in and said to my mom, who was on welfare, how would you like us to remove your daughter from this house? And I stood there thinking, they can take me away. They can take me from my home. They can take me somewhere to an orphanage. And I don't want to go there. And that's when I started hiding in the closet. And I really didn't speak much till I was about 7 years old. So I am so proud of where I came from and where I'm at now. I just turned 70. Okay. I put myself through cosmetology school and I had this little daughter. I got pregnant at 15. That's a whole nother story. But I love that little girl dearly. And because I did not have a functional family, I lived with people. I lived with my grandma a year. She helped me get on my feet and get into beauty school with my little daughter. Anyways, I've always had my daughter under my wing, and I've overfunctioned out of guilt for her not having a father. And I've given her everything on earth that a child could want. And I have done a lot of spoiling through the years and not letting her pick up the pieces on her businesses and things that fell apart. I was always there being the one to overdo. And now that I am 70 and I've been overdoing for about 20 years now, and I've watched her progressively get worse in her narcissistic behavior. And I realized something. She got all involved with Trump and the Republicans. And I remember going to vote for Hillary with my boyfriend who just passed away. It's another long story. And we were for democracy, and we were holding hands walking down to vote for Hillary. And my daughter met us at a Starbucks and said, I want you to meet my new Russian boyfriend. He was wearing a Armani suit and his name was Yuri. And he said, Putin good, Putin good. Well, she's been on this side of the equation for since 2016, and I've been a Democrat, never changed. My boyfriend, a musician in Hollywood, never changed. And I have watched her progressively go downhill as the more she got in with Donald Trump, the more her life unraveled. And it's to the point now of it's really bad. And I was wondering how many other people. I had to come live here. Steve passed away, excuse me. I wasn't prepared. And so I had to come live here. And this was the last place on earth I wanted to come into her home because she hasn't been functioning very well for the last few years. And I just did not, we weren't getting along with politics and other issues. And I just thought, no, this is the last place on earth I want to be with this nation divided. I don't want to hear it. But it's funny how God puts you, especially when you're a healer, puts you exactly into the center of where the hell is. And there is hell going on here, people, in Hollywood at this house over here. It could be a Netflix special. The stuff I've seen since I've been here this summer, You couldn't top it. You couldn't top it. And I'm getting stronger. I thought I would die when I found out her boyfriend is a Proud Boy. Okay. I thought, oh my God, a white terrorist. That is horrifying. But then I met him. Nothing to be terrified about, people. A broken man that is obsessed with getting 50 mil because the government locked him up because he was with the Proud Boys, and they really did scale that Capitol and do a lot of damage. And I had to meet him. And the first thing I said was, I put my hand out and I said, let me shake your hand, you little radical. I had to get the upper hand before he could even think about it with me. And he goes, what? What? That's the first night I met him. And we all go to dinner. And he pays. He's like a big, I'm going to pay for the family to have dinner. But during dinner, he called my daughter a whore. In front of her son, in front of her mother, in front of her brother. Walked out of the restaurant. They came up to me to pay the bill, and I said, no, 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 no. And he came back, paid the bill. But that's the first impression I got of this lowlife. Okay? And I'm wondering how many others of these people that he pardoned are going around, because there has been DV up there. I hear them in there. But then the minute I bang on the door, they're like, oh, everything's okay. So I've seen the DV. I've seen, heard, and can tell the cocaine going on in that room. And it's just the saddest thing you've ever seen, because since she got involved with Trump, she's supposed to be buying these 2 old houses, but she's not putting the money into working and saving. She's putting the money into this guy who promises he's getting all this money. But I think they're all going back to prison sooner than later, especially what's going on politically. I don't see anybody getting paid anything by the government. These people, like I told them, had I been the cops, you would have been shot, all of you. You would have been shot trying to scale the Capitol. But now you call yourself patriots. Well, good for you. Go to another planet then. This is planet Earth. And this is where we're at. I'm a little bit too radical for Yahoo comments. They always reject my comments, but we can have a president that is I'd say a couple months from death from dementia, and spouting his mouth off, and he's just the puppet for the big fat oligarchs. When it was 20 years ago, and I was taking a college course. I was about in my 30s. Okay, so it was 30 years ago. Shut up, everybody. I've been around forever, but guess what? That's because I was there. I can tell you this. It was about 30 years ago. I was at the junior college, and I had a black professor, and it was Black History class. And I took that class, and I heard all about the white man and the evils, and how they're trying to take over. And I felt guilty just being white. And I told him I felt really guilty about all the stuff that had happened to our black folk. And he said, hey, you're a woman, and woman's next on the list. And I said, what? What are you talking about? Well, they took away the abortion rights. Yes, we were next on the list, on the chopping block. So this professor told me probably 35 years ago that it was the white man. And I thought, no. And the whites want to take over. Okay, they want to run the world. And now I think back at the next class I took, which was at Cal State Fullerton, and he was a Pakistan guy, and he was always razzing me. It was in one of my psych classes. And he said it's the white guy, even with more anger. And I said, what? And you're going to see, Cindy, they want white power. They want to be rich and have capitalism and have nobody around but white people. And I thought that's a little bit of a stretch. But now that I'm in 2025, hello, and the book Future Shock predicted it all. And it's happening right in front of our eyes. But it's like watching everybody go down the river to immediate death over when you hit the dam and you go over because the dam broke and you go over. I'm watching America go slowly and slowly and slowly over there. And because I moved in and my door is across the hall from this terrorist guy, and my daughter, why do I have no fear? Because I have no fear. I look and tell, see and tell the truth. And he doesn't scare me. I told him, don't ever be in this house alone with me. There's a reason for that. These people that have been to prison, and he was before, they're pervs. Okay, they like to, let's just put it like this way, they like to flash people. And so I told him, don't ever be in this house alone with me. And now he hides up in the bedroom because he's a big what he is they're afraid, and they're narcissists, and some of them I would call them sociopaths, because that's close. Narcissism is just egotistical, and not all narcissists are sociopaths, but all sociopaths are narcissists. Okay, caring more about themselves and their feelings than anybody else. And it shows in this society. My daughter was not raised like that. She was raised by the 10 Commandments. I'm not a fundamental Christian like these radicals that she's joined up with. I am a practical Christian. I went to Unity Church, and practical Christianity means live it. Okay, live it. If the Bible tells you to love all races, then love them. Okay, you're not for ICE if you're a Christian, if you're a real Christian. If you're a fundamentalist, you're just brainwashed by the Jim Joneses of the world, by the Trumps. And once you're in a cult, you will watch them stand there naked and say, they're not naked, they're not naked. And that's people like my daughter who their brains have been hijacked. Now, the only thing I can do, because my whole thing is as an empath, a super empath, a healer, a wounded warrior, an empath who doesn't take shit like I used to all these years and do everything for everyone. I am here and I am empowered. And I'm here to tell all of you, just look and see and tell the truth. And if that's what you see, like what I saw Donald Trump on TV this morning calling Greenland Iceland, I can't slant that. Okay, when I hear a doctor who works with stroke patients and says the way he's doing his wordings, he's 2 to 4 months from, what did he say, 2 to 4 months from death? I'd have to believe it. What they're doing with him and grandstanding him, this stroke doctor said, it's like seeing my clients up there. It would be funny if it wasn't so tragic, but I've been going through this for a while, and now that I'm grieving my boyfriend and I'm in this home, because when all of you say stuff on Facebook like, oh, it's so tough, I thought, come here with the devil, okay, in this home, trying to divide it up, okay, and her just wanting me so badly to be gone because she doesn't want me to hear her in there when they start fighting, when they're up for 2 days on whatever drug they're on. They don't want me making remarks on Facebook when they're partying in minks and furs like it's 1999, but it's halfway through January and the rest of us are grieving, trying to get our nation back, trying to fight it. And these people are it's just one big party in the USA. And I will get my daughter back because this is her pattern with these men. She picks them, and then when they're gone, all of a sudden she comes humbly back. And I'm just wondering how many other people think that their kids that got into this Trump shit crap are narcissists. Are they messed up? Are your kids messed up? Or, I mean, how could they think all this stuff normally if they're not psychologically damaged? So I would like to hear your remarks, because I'm going to get these things posted. And I feel like my words have value because I'm an empath, a super empath. I have suffered. I was with my boyfriend 13 years after he had a stroke, and I was removed from society. I couldn't be a therapist. I couldn't do anything because I was taking care of him night and day. But now that he has passed away this summer, bless his heart, my liberal, my boyfriend, he was something. I'm going to tell you, he was such a beautiful person. If you know Ozzy Osbourne, you know Stevie. He was built out of that mold. He went to the same hospital, Cedars. He had the falls like Ozzy had. He had liver damage. They looked like twins. The buses used to stop us thinking he was Ozzy. And I'm glad I've lived through all of this stuff, because I can tell you, it's about love. Love 101. You have to go beyond politics. That's what try to tell my daughter. It's not about politics, Republican. Republican used to be okay, and there might be a few good ones, okay? But in Democrats, there's bad ones too, but there's more good ones. And us good people, and Gavin, I was so proud of him at Devos. Oh my God, can that man speak? Now he's hot. Okay, before he was mediocre when Hillary was in, but man, he is speaking up because, like he said, you can't deal with this nicely anymore. You can't deal with these thugs nicely. They got to be removed, and they got to be removed quick. So I don't know how it's going to turn out between my daughter and I. I know I'll be moving on within a few weeks, getting my jobs going, getting everything posted, and being the healer of a lifetime for you all and for me. I love you so much from Hollywood, California. Take care.